Okay, so we are looking at our last notes for Project 6. This is going to be on shape and emphasis. So for the first part, we don't actually have to cut anything out. We're just going to write down some words. So a shape is a flat area in a work of art. It can be based on real or imagined objects. So on your paper, we have 3 different categories that you need to write down on the arrows, which is which. Geometric are going to be man-made shapes with rules. So things like circles, squares, triangles, this little star thing, those are all geometric. So a square, it has to have 4 straight lines that meet at 90-degree angles that are all the same length. Otherwise, it's not a square. That's what we mean by man-made rules. So go ahead and label all 4 of those as geometric shapes. When you're ready, unpause me. Okay, so the next part is organic. These are the outlines of a living thing or a once living thing. So things like our deer heads and our leaves are both organic objects or organic shapes. So go ahead and label those 2. And that means that our amorphous shapes, things that are just blob-like, basically anything that is not a geometric or an organic shape, those 2 objects are going to be called amorphous, so you can write amorphous on the line. And then you have finished the shape page and you are ready to move on to our last page, which is emphasis. For emphasis, you're going to have to cut out all 5 arrows. So go ahead and do that. Unpause me when you're ready to move on to the emphasis page. Okay, so emphasis is just making something stand out, drawing attention to one area in your artwork. It's called creating a focal point. That's the area that stands out, and that is focal with an F, not a V. So this first box here, where we have a whole bunch of white circles and just one black circle, because that is an opposite, black and white are opposites, right? Those are going to be contrast. So that point, that black point, stands out because it is opposite everything else around it. The next one is just one circle in the very middle. If you want to draw people's attention, you place it in the middle. So we're going to say placement is this one. And then the one where it's off in a corner, that's going to be isolation, because he's all isolated. He doesn't have any friends around him to hang out with. He's all by himself, all lonely. So you can go ahead and glue that arrow down and write isolation. The next one is going to be this one smiley face surrounded by just a bunch of circles. That's going to be an unusual detail. So it's something strange and weird that doesn't quite go with everything else. It's not an opposite like the first one. They're not 2 opposite things. Like no face and a smiley face aren't the same. A frowny face and a smiley face might be contrast, right? Because those are opposite. But this is just a face and no face. That's weird. So unusual detail. And that means that the last one over here is going to be converging lines. So all the lines come together, just like with our perspective drawings, to one point. They converge together, just means coming together. And those are all of our notes. At this point, if you are done, you can make sure you have written your name on the front of this packet and turn it in, because I'm going to check for a grade to make sure that everything is filled in. And then this becomes a usable piece on your final exam. If you have not filled things out, there is a link on Schoology to all of the videos that we have previously watched. You can go back through and find the ones that you need to fill in the rest of your packet on your own and then turn it in.